All right, welcome to another deep dive. And today we're diving into Rich Dad, Poor Dad
Oh, yeah, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
by Robert Kiyosaki.
Classic.
It's a classic, right? I think, most people have at least heard of this book, even if they haven't read it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's, one of those big, personal finance kind of staples.
Like, if you walk into a Barnes & Noble,
Exactly.
it's right there.
So we're not just going to, scratch the surface today. We're going deep.
Oh, we're going deep.
We are really going to dig into some of the concepts and see, what really makes this book tick.
I think it's interesting because this is a book that, depending on who you talk to, you'll get very different opinions.
Oh, yeah.
Some people, swear by it.
Yeah.
Some people think it's, oversimplified or,
Not applicable.
not applicable to their lives.
Yeah.
But I think no matter what, it gets you thinking.
It does. It definitely makes you think about money differently.
Absolutely.
And I think that's, the core value of it. So the whole book is based on this idea that Kiyosaki had two dads, right?
Right.
His, actual father and then his best friend's dad, who he calls Rich Dad.
Right. So his biological father was very well educated.
Yeah.
But he struggled financially.
Yeah.
While Rich Dad was a self-made entrepreneur.
Yeah, and that contrast, really sets the stage for, all the lessons in the book.
It's kind of a brilliant way to do it, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
You're seeing these two different approaches to money play out.
Yeah, side by side.
Yeah, exactly. So, lesson one, this one's, right out of the gate. The rich don't work for money.
Right.
And he illustrates this with, a story from his childhood.
Yeah, he talks about how he worked for Rich Dad as a kid for 10 cents an hour.
You're nothing, right?
Which, even back then,
Oh, right.
that was nothing.
But, the point wasn't the money, right?
Right, exactly.
It was about understanding this idea of the rat race.
Most people, they get stuck in this cycle of
Working for money.
working for money. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's you're always chasing, but
You never get ahead.
you're not really getting anywhere, yeah.
It's like that hamster wheel you were talking about.
Yeah, and that, leads to one of the most famous lines from the book. The poor and the middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them.
Powerful stuff, right?
Yeah, and I think, a lot of people can relate to that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Have you ever felt that way? You're just kind of working for your money and it's not really working for you.
I think everyone at some point has, yeah.
And that's, the whole problem Kiyosaki is addressing, right?
Well, absolutely.
It's not just about earning more, it's about
changing your relationship with money.
Yeah, and that's where financial literacy comes in.
It's huge.
Which is a perfect segue to lesson 2.
Right.
Why teach financial literacy? And Kiyosaki's whole point is that school prepares you for jobs.
Yeah.
But not for actually managing your money.
Right. It doesn't teach you about money.
And Rich Dad, his whole philosophy was that you have to understand money.
You have to understand it to really be successful.
Yeah, it's as important as earning it.
If not more so.
And he uses this great analogy of the Empire State Building.
Oh, yeah. Love that one.
Trying to build wealth without financial knowledge is like building a skyscraper.
On a tiny foundation.
Yeah, 6 inches of concrete.
It's not going to work.
It's going to crumble.
You need that solid base to support your financial growth.
Yeah, financial literacy is your foundation.
Exactly.
So are you ready for lesson 3?
Hit me with it.
All right, this one is about minding your own business.
Interesting.
But not in, the traditional sense.
Okay.
It's really about focusing on assets.
Gotcha.
And he tells this story about Ray Kroc,
Okay.
the founder of McDonald's.
Right.
And someone asked him, what business he was in.
What did he say?
And he said, I'm not in the hamburger business. I'm in the real estate business.
Wow.
Think about that.
It's he saw the bigger picture.
Right. He wasn't focused on the burgers.
He was focused on the underlying asset.
The land, the locations.
The real estate.
That's where the real value was.
That's smart.
So, it makes you think, right?
Yeah.
What's your asset column? Are you building it? Or are you just focused on, the income from your job?
Right. Are you building something that will generate income even when you're not working?
That's the key.
That's the goal, right?
That's the goal, to have your money work for you, not the other way around.
Exactly.
Which is what this whole book is about, right?
It all comes back to that.
So we're starting to see those themes connect.
Yeah, it's all about shifting your perspective and taking control of your financial future.
Exactly. And that leads us to, a pretty thought-provoking part of the book.
Oh, here we go.
The history of taxes and corporate power.
This is where things get a little controversial.
Yeah, it can be a bit controversial, but, it's important to understand where Kiyosaki is coming from.
All right, like what's his perspective on this?
So he talks about how, like, the wealthy often use the system to their advantage when it comes to taxes.
Okay.
Like, they use corporations and legal structures to minimize their tax burden.
Right, and he argues that this can sometimes disadvantage the middle class.
Exactly. And he uses this example of, like, the Robin Hood myth.
Okay.
Like, the idea that taxes were meant to, like, redistribute wealth from the rich to the poor.
Right. Take from the rich, give to the poor.
But, like, Kiyosaki argues that often it ends up burdening the middle class instead.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, food for thought.
Makes you think, for sure.
Now, it's important to say, like, Kiyosaki's not advocating for any illegal activities.
Right. We're not talking about tax evasion here.
Absolutely not. It's about, like, understanding how the system works.
And how different groups navigate it.
Right. Knowledge is power.
Absolutely. The more you understand about finances, the better equipped you are to manage your own money.
Okay, so let's move on to something a little more, like, inspirational.
Okay, I like it.
Lesson 5 is, the rich invent money.
Now we're talking.
Now, before you get any ideas about, like, printing money in your basement.
Yeah, no counterfeiting here.
This is really about seeing opportunities that other people miss.
Opportunities?
Yeah, like, he tells this story about Alexander Graham Bell
Oh, wow.
being rejected by Western Union when he tried to sell them his telephone patent.
Really?
Can you believe that?
That's wild.
They missed out big time.
Big time.
And that's, like, his point, right? The rich are often able to see and seize opportunities that others overlook.
They're not just working for money, they're creating value.
Exactly. And sometimes it's about, like, being bold and understanding how markets work.
Yeah.
He tells this story about buying a house in Phoenix for $20,000 and then quickly selling it for $60,000.
Wow, that's a good flip.
Right. But it's not about, like, getting rich quick.
It's about financial intelligence.
Yeah. Like, he was able to spot a deal, understand the market, and make a move.
It's about being proactive and informed.
But of course, like, there are always challenges on the road to wealth.
There are always obstacles.
Right. And Kiyosaki identifies 5 main roadblocks: fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance.
Okay, so basically, all the things that hold us back.
Yeah, pretty much. And we've probably all struggled with at least one of these at some point, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, like, he tells this really relatable story about a friend who was just, like, completely lost financially after her divorce.
Oh, wow.
She had no idea how to manage her money, and it just left her feeling totally powerless.
That's a tough situation.
Yeah, and it's like a wake-up call, right? Like, we need to take control of our financial literacy.
No matter what our background is or our current situation.
Yeah, like, it's never too late to learn.
Never too late.
So what does this all mean for you, right? Like, how do we actually apply these lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Well, the good news is Kiyosaki doesn't just leave us with theory. He actually gives us some practical to-dos.
I love a good actionable step.
Yeah. So are you ready to dive into those?
Absolutely. Let's hear them. Okay, so what are these to-dos?
All right. The first one that really stands out is find a mentor.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
He talks about finding your own rich dad, like someone who's already achieved what you want financially.
So like someone you can learn from, get advice from.
Yeah, like a financial role model.
It doesn't have to be someone you know personally.
Yeah, it could be someone you admire, like someone whose story resonates with you.
Right, like someone who's walked the path you want to walk.
And then there's this gem, stop saying I can't afford it.
Oh, I love that one.
He wants you to reframe that to, how can I afford it?
Total mindset shift.
Yeah, like instead of focusing on limitations, you're looking for possibilities.
Right, it's about activating your, like, financial creativity.
Yeah, like turning a roadblock into a detour.
You find a different way to get where you want to go.
And that leads perfectly into the next to-do, pay yourself first.
Ah, yes, that's crucial.
Don't wait till the end of the month to see what's left over.
Right, prioritize your saving.
Put money into your asset column right from the start.
Build that financial discipline.
Yeah, make sure you're part of your budget, not just an afterthought.
And that reminds me, what about those 5 roadblocks?
Oh, yeah. Fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, arrogance.
Kiyosaki really digs into how those can sabotage your financial success.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't hold back.
Like with fear, especially the fear of losing money.
It can be paralyzing, right?
Keeps you from taking risks.
And from, like, seeing failures as learning opportunities.
It's about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
And he also calls out cynicism, which I think is so important.
Easy to get jaded, especially when it comes to money.
Yeah, but he says that cynicism can blind you to opportunities.
Got to stay open to new ideas, new possibilities.
Yeah, keep that curious mind.
And then there's laziness.
Oh, we all struggle with that one, right?
But Kiyosaki emphasizes being proactive.
Opportunities don't just fall into your lap.
You got to go out there and make things happen.
And then there are bad habits, overspending, relying on credit.
Those can really set you back.
Kiyosaki's all about breaking those patterns.
Replace them with healthier financial habits.
Manage your money wisely. Avoid unnecessary debt.
Build that strong financial foundation.
And finally, there's arrogance.
Thinking we know it all.
But Kiyosaki stresses the importance of continuous learning.
Stay humble. Be open to new perspectives.
The financial landscape is always changing.
You got to adapt to stay ahead of the curve.
So, we've talked a lot about theory, but let's get specific about how Kiyosaki actually builds wealth.
Let's get into the strategies.
He really focuses on two main areas.
Yeah.
Real estate and small cap stocks.
Okay, so a mix of stable investments and higher risk, higher reward options.
Exactly. He sees real estate as like a solid foundation.
Provides steady cash flow, potential for appreciation.
Yeah, he talks about rentals, looking for bargains at foreclosure auctions.
And having a good property manager to handle things.
It's not just about owning property, it's about managing it effectively.
Makes sense.
And he also highlights the power of leverage.
Using other people's money to finance your investments.
Can really accelerate your wealth building.
Yeah, but, leverage can also be risky.
Oh yeah, definitely got to use it wisely.
And what about the small cap stocks?
Those are a different beast. Higher risk, but potential for big growth.
He talks about investing in private companies before they go public.
Trying to ride that wave of success.
Sounds exciting, but definitely not for the faint of heart.
Right. He's not talking about, gambling in the stock market.
It's about informed decisions, doing your research.
Using your financial intelligence, which he breaks down into 4 pillars.
Okay, what are those?
Accounting, investing, understanding markets, and the law.
So basically, all the tools you need to make smart financial choices.
Yeah, evaluate deals, structure your investments, minimize your taxes.
Play the game strategically.
Work smarter, not just harder.
He even recommends setting up a corporation.
Protect your assets. Take advantage of those tax benefits.
It's all about understanding the rules and using them to your advantage.
Now, it's important to acknowledge Rich Dad, Poor Dad does have its critics.
Right. Not everyone's a fan.
Some say he oversimplifies things, that his stories aren't relatable to everyone.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you can't deny the book's impact.
It sparked so many conversations about financial literacy.
And inspired people to take control of their finances.
That's ultimately what Kiyosaki's advocating for empowerment.
He wants people to challenge the status quo, develop their financial capabilities.
He believes anyone can achieve financial freedom.
Regardless of their background.
If they're willing to learn, take action, develop the right mindset.
See the world through a different lens.
Understand the rules of the game and use them to your benefit.
But Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't just about money, though.
Oh, what else is it about?
It touches on deeper themes like purpose, passion, finding your path.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
He believes financial freedom is about more than just accumulating wealth.
It's about having the time and resources to pursue your passions.
Yeah, to live a life of meaning.
Finding your why.
Exactly, like what's driving your desire for financial freedom.
It's not just about the money itself, it's about what it enables you to do.
And he encourages people to explore different paths, entrepreneurship, investing.
Anything that aligns with their values and interests.
Breaking free from the rat race, not just financially, but mentally, emotionally.
That's a powerful message.
He even shares his own struggles with finding his path.
Showing that it's not always a straight line to success.
And that personal growth often goes hand in hand with financial growth.
Now, I've noticed that Rich Dad, Poor Dad also delves into some deeper insights that are almost like spiritual in nature.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
It's interesting how he connects financial success to personal development.
Like, he emphasizes mastering your emotions, especially fear and doubt.
Yeah, because those can really hold you back from taking risks.
And from seeing opportunities.
He talks about the power of choosing your thoughts.
Instead of reacting impulsively to financial challenges.
It's take a pause.
Yeah.
Analyze the situation. Make a deliberate choice.
One that aligns with your long-term goals.
It's about being intentional with your finances.
Not letting your emotions control your decisions.
It's a shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mentality.
It's like, changing your whole perspective, right? Instead of seeing limitations, you're seeing possibilities.
Yeah, believing that there's enough out there for everyone.
Abundance. And there's this interesting concept that Kiyosaki brings up, being an Indian giver.
Oh, yeah, that one raised some eyebrows, I'm sure.
Right. But like, he's not talking about being dishonest.
No, not at all.
It's actually about this principle of like reciprocity and abundance.
Okay.
He explains that Native Americans had this tradition of like giving gifts freely with the understanding that like the recipient would eventually reciprocate.
Gotcha. So it's not about expecting something in return immediately.
Right. It's about creating this flow of generosity.
I like that.
So how does this apply to like personal finance?
Yeah, how did that translate?
Kiyosaki believes that giving generously, whether it's your time, your money, your expertise, it can actually attract more abundance into your life.
It's like what goes around comes around.
Yeah, that whole karma thing.
But in a positive way.
Exactly. It's not just about material gain either. It's about like the energy.
The intention.
Yeah. And then like finally, Kiyosaki talks about the importance of choosing your heroes wisely.
Okay, that's interesting.
Like finding role models who embody the kind of financial success and mindset that you aspire to.
So like who are your financial heroes?
Yeah, who do you look up to? And he talks about like studying the strategies of successful investors.
Yeah, like Warren Buffett.
Exactly. Like don't just admire their wealth, but like actually learn from their approach.
Your decision-making process.
It's like having a blueprint for success, right? Learning from those who've already achieved what you want.
It's like having a mentor, but from afar.
So I think as we wrap up this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah.
it's clear that this book is so much more than just a basic personal finance guide.
It's a philosophy.
Yeah, it's like a call to action, a challenge to really think differently about money.
To take control of your financial future.
And like whether you agree with everything Kiyosaki says or not.
Right, because there are definitely some controversial points in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you can't deny its impact.
It sparks so many conversations.
So many people have been inspired by this book.
To take that first step towards financial freedom.
And ultimately, I think that's what it's all about, right? Empowerment.
Yeah, that's the core message.
Kiyosaki wants people to question the status quo, challenge conventional wisdom.
To develop their own financial genius.
He believes that anyone can achieve financial freedom.
No matter their background.
If they're willing to learn, take action, and like cultivate that right mindset.
It's about seeing the world differently, understanding the rules of the game.
And using them to your advantage.
It's not just about getting rich. It's about having the freedom to live the life you want.
Exactly. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about so much more than just money.
It's about purpose, passion, making a difference.
So, to borrow from Kiyosaki, like what's one action you can take today to start building your asset column?
That's the question to ponder.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
It's been a great conversation.
We hope you've learned something, been inspired, maybe even challenged a little bit.
And that you're feeling motivated to take control of your financial future.
Until next time, keep those minds curious.